Drop day, number 7. I, even camouflaged, cannot hide how stoked I am about 5 delicious, fresh, new beers. I'm talking about Frozen Envelope Hazy IPA. I'm talking about Solo, West Coast IPA, brand new in the Conservatory series. We're talking Latvian Laundromat Double IPA, Indie Darling, Helles Lager, brand new recipe. We are talking about Game 6 Fix, Hazy Session IPA. Very, very delicious. And to wrap all of that up, we're going to talk about the Freshtival, but you're going to need to bear with me. We really do live in a beautiful place. This is my favorite time of year to live in Northern California. The greenness is just so green. When I was a kid growing up around here, we were the type of kids who would go drive around for fun. So ever since I've had a driver's license, I've been getting out into the hills and countryside and coastlines to find places to relax. There are a ton of little nuggets of beauty out here that a million people have seen, but maybe not everybody has stopped and sat in and really absorbed how beautiful it is. Let's talk about Indie Darling. In the pantheon of pale lagers, there's only one with an unbroken record of street cred. Pilsner's early stuff was excellent, but then it became self-aware of its success. Vienna Lager obviously sold out, but Helles stayed true. Munich's own is loyal to its soil, and when in Bavaria, it's most of what you see at the beer halls. Sure, it doesn't get in front of international crowds very much, but being in the know is half the fun. Our Helles Lager has sweet malt characteristics like shortbread, and then like a baking spice perfumey aroma that is really, really choice. Have some. My dad is from San Francisco, and I lived down here when I was younger. And San Francisco really is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. My dad grew up in the Sunset, and I lived in the Presidio when I was down here. And so my understanding of San Francisco is you really just live in a really, 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 really beautiful park. I worked at the Beach Chalet, and my commute to work every day was to Ocean Beach through Land's End. And it was always like, really? We just get to be here? We just get to be around all of this beautiful stuff? I promise you, this is about beer festivals. Just let me cook. Game 6 Fix Session IPA. As we all know, the 2002 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Kings were the worst officiated series in the history of the NBA. The Kings caught every single break in Game 6 with really ugly reffing that led to a 7th game more profitable for the league than ending the game at 6 where it should have. Disgraced NBA ref Tim Donaghy accused Dick Bavetta of being the company man, more concerned about getting the series to a 7th game and making more money for the NBA than reffing a clean game. But since this is a session IPA, that's as far as we'll delve into conspiracy theory. What we will delve into is that Idaho 7 and Autumn in this beer just lead to the most absurd real peach and real apricot. Not candy, not dried, just like fresh peaches and fresh apricots flavor, and you're going to love it. Travel is super important to my wife and I, and seeing new, beautiful places is one of our top priorities in life. I've been lucky/reckless with credit cards enough to have seen a lot of beautiful places, and everywhere has something unique if you have the right eyes to look at it. The California coastline, though, just does it for me in a way that nowhere else does, and everywhere else I've ever been has only enhanced my appreciation of how beautiful this is. Not only that, everything delicious is from here. We've got bomb-ass beer, wine, cheese, milk, veggies, meat. The butter is hella good. The weed is hella good. Everything is delicious. It's honestly very overwhelming. It can be easy to feel like it all just exists. Like it's all just there to experience and enjoy. But none of this exists without the decisions that we, the grand societal we, have made and are actively making. A coastline? A decision? Yes, absolutely. The coastline is a decision. As we all know, Dirty things must be made clean. This is why we have laundromats. What could be nefarious about a laundromat? Folks like you and me, normal people, we visit our local laundromats, quarters just weighing down our pockets, ready to refresh our wardrobes. But what if what's being washed isn't clothing? What if a bunch of oligarchs have $20 to $80 billion they need to move out of the country in 2011 to 2014 and take about 70,000 transactions to do that through banks in Latvia and Moldova? That'd be quite the global laundromat, wouldn't you say? We aren't talking about turning quarters into suds. We're talking about billions of dollars of dirty money made clean through what the Herald called the most complicated and sophisticated money laundering scheme ever. That kind of kleptocratic cash grab takes more than a couple laundromats to conceal. This double IPA is brewed with Mosaic and Citra hops and is a classic juice banger because of it. Ed and Peggy Wayburn were doctors who lived around here, and they hiked out in Land's End frequently. And over the course of a couple of decades, they worked with the Sierra Club to establish what would become the Golden Gate National Recreational Area. All this coastline that we get to commute through today. This is what I learned from the plaque and a little bit of Wikipedia-ing. That's amazing. Big props, Ed and Peggy. However, what I want to focus in on here is when I first saw that plaque, I was with a friend and he was like, I know them. I took dance lessons from their daughter. The people who make a difference in our communities, who keep this the best place in the world to live in our community. The people who make everything awesome are not total strangers. They're people you know who make those active decisions over a long period of time to keep our communities amazing. One of the many reasons the internet was a mistake is that we've all learned some degree of helplessness through information overwhelm. We have access to so much information about world events that we can't really directly impact that it's easy to start feeling like we can't impact much. We forget that the beautiful world that we live in is the direct consequence of decisions made by people like us who at the time probably felt like they didn't have a lot of control over the world either. So let's talk about beer festivals. You may know beer festivals as an awesome opportunity to try a bunch of new beers you've never had before, or just get day drunk in a parking lot. However, the real purpose of beer festivals is as a fundraiser. See, in order to have a for-profit beer festival, you need to buy all the beer, which makes it far more expensive, which means there'd be a lot less beer festivals. So, most organizers of beer festivals partner with a nonprofit for whom the beer can be donated. A well-run beer festival can raise tens of thousands of dollars for a nonprofit, which, for most small and medium-sized nonprofits, is a really big deal. Not only does a single large cash infusion just help in terms of them having money, it also makes future fundraising easier by taking some of the immediacy off of the need for fundraising and allowing organizers to look at the long view. We're looking for a connection, and we have to strip away all of the parts until we find that one through line that we connect with. And when that one instrument is laid bare, it can connect with our very soul. Then we can start to layer back in the other pieces and see how they all play together. The solo allows the tutti to shine, and in the context of understanding that one instrument, the entire piece is changed. Did you really think we were going to do a single hop beer in 2024? Come on, dog. The solo components of this hop bill are what allow the beer overall to shine. We've got Nectaron in there for those peach and stone fruit flavors. We've got Comet just shining with lemongrass and tropical vibes. HBC 586, which Adam is really, really excited about for kind of turbocharged mango flavor. Come get some. Smaller beer donations also make a big difference, particularly for the smallest nonprofits, which are often entirely volunteer-run. Fundraisers are as much about raising money as they are about building community. We all get together, we affirm a set of communal values, have a couple of beers, maybe win a raffle, sign up to plant some trees this weekend, and the community is better for it. Beer is super helpful for those events, not just because it's delicious and something to do with your hands while you meet your neighbors, but because it is a source of those small, ongoing donations that make those kinds of nonprofits practical. Last year, Hen House donated 80,000 cans of beer to local nonprofits, which at $8 a can is $640,000 in effective fundraising. Hopefully, that's a small percentage of people's beer budget in total, but it's a really meaningful source of funding for the organizations that keep our community cool and beautiful and vibrant. Our biggest fundraiser every year is the Freshtival, which is a partnership with the Bay Area Brewers Guild. They're a nonprofit that supports and promotes small breweries across the greater Bay Area, and we're really proud to be working with them because if we want to keep having this cool brewery community, one that has given me personally so much gratification and so many cool life opportunities, we have to promote it. We have to support it. We have to be the people actively making those decisions to keep the community cool and vibrant and exciting. As we all know, the 1985 NBA draft was rigged to send Patrick Ewing to the New York Knicks. But how do you rig a draft that will be televised? How do you mark an envelope that's going to be on camera? Can television cameras see cold? Wouldn't the person handling the envelopes notice a strange ice-cold envelope? And wouldn't it be odd if the person handling that envelope was an accountant whose firm happened to work for both the NBA and the Knicks? Would that accountant, who was maybe serving a power higher than Stern, intentionally damage one of the corners of the envelope so that it could be seen and picked by the commissioner? Isn't it all strange that Knicks exec Dave Derbyshire showed up at the draft with a jersey that said Ewing on the back and the number 33, the highest degree in Freemasonry? All the information is out there. I'm just asking the questions. This IPA is made with Idaho 7 and Autumn hops. It's the first IPA we used Conan yeast in, and for that I will always love it. It tastes like fresh-made orange juice. We throw the Freshtival 1 because we want to make sure that we're promoting fresh beer, no beers older than 7 days, but 2, because beer festivals are a really awesome way for people to come together and feel how exciting the beer and brewery community is, to see how excited we are to show you the new stuff we've brewed in the freshest condition possible. It's critically important that we be part of making those active decisions that support the community that we want to live in. And that's what the Freshtival is for us. I use the phrase a statement of values a lot, which is because I think it's important to state your values. Our values are beer, community, and the Freshtival is such a perfect marriage of those two things. Maybe it doesn't feel like changing the world, but if you want to change the world, you got to start with your neighborhood. I fucking love beer and the beer community, and the Freshtival is absolutely the pinnacle of both of those things. For me personally, there's no better place to drink delicious and fresh beer than at the Freshtival, so I hope that I'll see you there. It's going to be the greatest. So stoked.